Hello, and welcome to The Rundown. I'm your host, Justin Avery Smith. We've got a great show for you tonight. Our special guest is nobody, as this show does not have any talent bookers, agents, or anything of that sort. And it's just a scrawny white dude ranting on public access. Please enjoy. Well, now that that's established, let's take a look at some headlines. MSN has published an article listing 10 things that happen to your body if you stop having sex. Number 1, you start reading articles about what happens to your body when you stop having sex. MSN has also published an article listing 8 reasons you should never let your cat sleep in your bed. Reason number 1, it's a cat. Vladimir Putin commissioned a huge, shiny new limo for his inauguration ceremony. To have it ready took a lot of blood, sweat, and silencing of critics. Yep, Vladimir Putin debuted a shiny, huge new limo for his inauguration ceremony, and I'm sure Donald appreciated the lift to prom. An allergy group has reported that the U.S. has a shortage of EpiPens and other allergic reaction treatments. Well, that's bad news for people with an allergy, especially if you're allergic to bad news. A judge ruled that Trump can't block people on Twitter anymore, saying that the comment section of Trump's Twitter account is a public forum. Well, except for Eric, obviously. And the other one, what's her name? Tiffany? No, that's not it. Teresa, Tessa, anyway, it's probably something like that. A USA Today report says that the number of pedestrian fatalities by car has skyrocketed. The report would have been longer, but the researcher ran into oncoming traffic. The NFL has released a new policy that says players must either stand for the national anthem or stay in the locker room. The NFL, however, can still get on one knee and bow to public pressure. A man in a Spider-Man costume was seen riding a Boston train hanging upside down from the handrail. Said one rider, "Wicked pissa," when they noticed him peeing. American Airlines has banned several in-flight service animals such as insects, goats, ferrets, and hedgehogs. That's why this one was spotted riding on the wing. It was reported that a Russian oligarch named Viktor Vekselberg met with Michael Cohen in Trump Tower during the transition. You know Trump was excited about this meeting when Michael told him. He must have been like, "Oh my God, I love Vekselberg. I love him in the Fast and Furious movies. I loved him in The Pacifier. Tremendous guy." Then Mr. Cohen was like, "Mr. Trump, it's Vekselberg, not Vin." "Oh my God, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. In that case, I love his work on Jaws, E.T., and Indiana Jones, especially the one with the Nazis in it, where there were very fine people on both sides." Rihanna reportedly gave Prince Harry and Meghan Markle advice on what to do for their wedding night. Her advice was to work for it. Work, 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 work. And whatever they do, please don't stop the music. Mama say, mama sama makusa. 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 Please don't stop the music. Hey, the news is depressing and sometimes you just need to jam out. Well, now that we've got the juices flowing, we here at The Rundown always feel we have to give credit where credit is due and acknowledge greatness when we see it. That's why we'd like to pay special tribute to Sarah Sanders, White House press secretary and member of the friend group who never seems to realize when they're taking the picture. And in honor of that, we thought we would pay tribute to the many laughs you have given us. Not with your laughably false and misleading statements, but with your inability to realize when the camera is snapping. Sarah, this is for you. Now with that out of the way, let's move on to a broader topic, America. And I know all the musical theater fans watching just thought, "I like to be in America, okay by me in America, everything free in America, for a small fee in America." Or, "America, America, you're sensitive as steed, rush the sauce onto the meat, make the menu sparkle with rum." See? Having a degree in theater has its merits. Anyway, when it comes to America's citizens, there are a diverse number of opinions when it comes to the quality of the country. Some will tell you it is the best country on earth, a godsend to the universe, Others will say that the country has some serious work to do in one aspect or another. So we're here to answer a few critical questions. Specifically, where does America lead? Where does it fall far behind? Why is it so? And how does that fare against other countries? So first, let's get the bad news out of the way. The bad news is, while we do lead on some things, more on that later, we fall far behind on some things many of us would consider important. First, and I quote, according to the 2014 Global Peace Index prepared by the Institute for Economics and Peace, the United States ranks 101st out of 162 countries. Well, you know what they say, first is the worst, second is the best, 101st is America, and that's a serious problem. 101. With those numbers, before you know it, Cruella de Vil will be wearing an American-made fur coat. Though, to be fair, most Americans probably feel like they are Cruella de Vil right now, because if you ask them about the state of our country right now, most of them will say, miserable, darling, as usual, perfectly wretched. Adding on to that, a particularly pressing issue right now is the freedom of the press, and amazingly, no pun intended. Again, I quote, according to Gallup, 87% of Americans believe that the United States has a free media, making the United States tied for 15th with Senegal out of 133 countries ranked. Finland ranks first with 97%. Sure, 15th out of 133 doesn't sound too bad, but when you pride yourself on being the greatest country on earth and our press is not the most free despite it being in our Constitution, it really gives you pause. Think about it. In 1998, the American Film Institute ranked Star Wars the 15th best movie out of 100, falling behind It's a Wonderful Life, which isn't even a movie anymore. It's just a Christmas decoration for your TV screen. In freedom of the press terms, we are a Christmas decoration. Well, with the bad news out of the way, let's ask ourselves, what is America's best at? What is its strengths? Well, let's answer that question by pointing out that there is a Washington Post opinion article titled 21 Maps and Charts That Prove America is Number One. And reading it, you might think it was either written for The Onion or by someone at Fox News, which are growing strikingly similar by the day. But hey, if Fox News wants to spread a right-wing agenda based on white upper-class privilege, disdain towards respectable people and organizations, and put ideology before facts, it's their constitutional right, damn it. Propaganda machines with a right-wing agenda aside, in that Washington Post article, there are points that include, but are certainly not limited to, putting people in jail, going to work sick, tornadoes, military spending, paying for healthcare, making parents work, Bill Murray, and something called jorts, which it turns out is just a hip way to say jean shorts. So by that logic, we here at The Rundown are the first to report that America is mathematically the most likely to see Bill Murray in jean shorts. USA! 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 Anyway, to break that all down a little bit, one statistic that kept coming up in our research but doesn't seem to get enough discussion is the first one we mentioned. Quote, according to the Brookings Institution in 2013, there were 710 Americans imprisoned for every 100,000 U.S. residents. This makes the United States rank first out of 34 countries ranked in the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, or OECD. The average incarceration rate among the OECD nation is 115. Really makes you rethink the song, I'm proud to be an American where at least I know I'm free. Well, you are, unless you're one of the 595 that is above the world average, in which case, watch your behind. Our closest competitor is Chile, and they trail us by 444. They're going to have to put a lot of people in jail if they hope to win the House Cup. Time for Dumbledore to come in and give an extra 500 points because some kids went down a trapdoor, cut some weeds, opened another door, played chess, and looked in a mirror. Now, to expand on some of the other points made in the article, like going to work sick, paying for healthcare, and making parents work, you might notice that all of those have a common thread, which is how the amount you work is driven by how much you earn. Some employee benefits are more for the company than the worker. They can afford to have someone take the day, the week, or even months off because they'll lose money. And of course, in the business world, If you're not making the company money, you're not worth keeping around. And of course, like so many things in America, and by extent the world, the solution is not one size fits all. Big business workers will not need the same benefits as small business workers, since not as many people work for small businesses and hence don't make as much money. I know many people who oppose free healthcare, social programs, and other similar things similar to those believe that it is just giving free stuff to people who do nothing and doesn't motivate them to become self-sufficient when they're given handouts, as they're sometimes called. Now, I understand the thinking behind that. Really, I do. But it gets harder to support that when you look at what Americans have to do to be able to afford health care, food, homes, and other necessities to survive. Heck, the American dream is being able to build yourself from the ground up and earn everything you have and live a good life with the ones you love most. I think many of you would agree with that. So with that being said, the phrase "make America great again" is beginning to sound a bit sarcastic and oxymoronic. America is and continues to be a work in progress, and is like every other work in progress, there will be moments of brilliance and setbacks. Think of America as a piece of IKEA furniture. All of the parts are there, and we have the tools to make something that's both beautiful and practical. And I know, depending on who you ask, America, and Washington more specifically, is already full of tools. And sometimes even tools need to be fixed. Or if they've already been proven to be broken beyond repair, chuck them in the bin and send them to the islet of misfit toys where they belong. To be clear and fair, though, this is not a horrible country that nobody should live in. On the contrary, America is often referred to as the land of opportunity. And just because a few bad apples have risen to the top of the barrel does not mean they have to spoil the bunch. Heck, one of the great things about this country is the checks and balances, the distribution of power that allows us to ensure megalomaniacs like the current White House inhabitant, yes, that's what Whoopi Goldberg calls him, and so will I, because every time you say the man's name, it only makes him stronger. The checks and balances and distribution of power have allowed us to ensure this megalomaniac does not get any more powerful and become the dictator he so clearly wants to become. And honestly, I hope we'd all agree that a president you disagree with on policy is much preferable to one who basically wants to pick and choose the people we let live in our country without even giving them a chance to make a name for themselves. We gave you a chance, Mr. President. Heck, we've given you more chances to succeed than the Transformers movies. And just like the Transformers movies, the best thing about you is how fun it is to talk about how terrible you are. Aside from that, though, even though this country, like any other, has had its ups and downs, I believe that in the end, we always land on our feet, even if we don't always have the most graceful dive. And I know there are many people out there who remain scared, angry, and disgusted by the racism, ignorance, and profanity that has plagued this country, especially lately, including myself. However, on the positive side, there are just as many, if not more, people out there who will fight to hold accountable those who do wrong and will fight for a better tomorrow. Just look at Harvey Weinstein. Just last week, he was charged with rape and other sex crimes. And it is immensely satisfying to watch the footage of a man who was accused of such heinous crimes be restrained and lose his agency, just like he did to so many women. And can I just say that if the stories about him are true, which they most certainly are, he will be very popular in prison, and not just because of his movies. Can we also take a moment to appreciate the fact that not only does it look great to see him appear so defeated because he's being held accountable for his horrific actions, but also because he looks like Professor Quirrell when Harry Potter touched his face. On top of that, at times, punishing genuinely terrible people has also given us some amazing leaders and public figures who remind us what it means to be a leader and a true American. Men like John McCain, who have defended his opponents and have made every effort to stand up for the American people, and remind us that despite what recent history would suggest, just because you're a Republican doesn't mean you're a xenophobic bigot who will step on other people to score political points. There are good Republicans out there who oppose this administration. Aside from the political spectrum, however, there are many things out there that are profoundly American that everyone who lives in this country should be proud of. What other country could have given us Oprah, Ellen, New York City, Hollywood, a town that gave us the very American movie, Team America, World Police, a movie whose very theme song goes, America, fuck yeah. We have Disney World, Disneyland, and that has inspired Tokyo Disney, Paris Disney, China Disney, and a Six Flags in practically every tri-state area. A theme park I've been to on multiple occasions where I've cheered, screamed, and on some rides, genuinely feared for my life. I can't wait to go back. We've invented the USB pet rock, the TV hat, the gas-be-gone fart-absorbing underpants, hair in a can. Do any of these products have any actual usage that improves your life and have actual value? Of course not, but they sure are fun to talk about, and thank you, America, for making them possible. And if you think I didn't order one, you're right, because this bit was thought up at the last minute and we didn't have the time. Hooray for last minute ideas! I guess some practices have managed to stay with me even after college. That, along with writing 10 to 20 page long papers about pressing topics in America. When have I been doing that? You're watching it, baby. And if any of my professors are watching this, I hope you'll give me a good grade. I might have graduated college, but that doesn't mean you graduate from trying to seek approval. The bottom line is, America will always have its positives and negatives. That is just how the world works. At the end of the day, though, America, no matter how bad it might look, will always have something that makes everyone smile. From the heroes that fight for the safety of our citizens, to the completely useless inventions who are most useful in making us say, what? Why? But hey, in a country where everything is possible, that really does mean everything. Thank you so much for watching. Can't wait to do this again. Please take care of yourself and have a good one.